So FKA Twigs is having to fight again to control her own narrative because of these people. Okay, so these are the people. I'm going to give you some backstory and then I'm going to get into these people. So if you didn't already know, FKA Twigs did a photo shoot for Calvin Klein at the same time. It's the same campaign as what's her face, Jenner, Kylie Jenner or whatever. This thing happened a year ago, but now the UK has banned her photos, not Kylie's photos, and definitely not this dude's photos that are way more provocative. So I'm afraid that this will get taken down if I actually show you this amazing photo. But this photo, it's so powerful. It's so beautiful. It's not schmegsual at all. And yet it's banned. Her whole photo shoot is banned in the UK. It includes photos like this. And Calvin Klein itself said, their spokesman were like, these images were not vulgar. They were of two confident, empowered women who chose to identify with our brand. And the ads contain a progressive, enlightened message. So when she was interviewed by the Rolling Stones like a year ago, I believe this was a year ago, it was a while ago, she talked about how much pride she had doing this campaign. Doing this campaign means I can be who I am, a strong woman that isn't going to go in and out of fashion. When I'm in my 60s and have grandchildren, I can show them these pictures and say, your grandmother was strong. Okay? Like this was like such an empowering, artistic, personal photo shoot for her because of sexism and in particular misogynoir, right? Because the fact that Kylie Jenner's are still up and hers are not, it says everything about the way the media polices black women's bodies while at the same time constantly has a long history, like not just the media, just our society, because of anti-blackness and misogynoir in particular, has schmegsualized black women's bodies for a long time. And they continue to do this because Kylie's are empowering, but hers are schmegsual. Okay, there's so much like racism in this act in and of itself. So she posted on her Instagram saying, I do not see a stereotypical schmegsual object that they have labeled me. I love this. I am a beautiful, strong woman of color whose incredible body has overcome more pain than you can imagine. I love that. I mean, because we know what she's been through, especially the last few years. And this is only what we know of, right? But we know that Shia LaBeouf or whatever, what that man put her through. And then I actually did not know this until just yesterday. That one of the things that she maybe references overcoming the pain includes surgery in 2017 to remove 6 fibroid tumors from her uterus. She described that the tumors as the size of 2 cooking apples, 3 kiwis, and a couple of strawberries. A bowl of fruit of pain every day. I tried to be brave, but it was excruciating at times. To be honest, I started to doubt if my body would ever feel the same again. My confidence as a woman was knocked. Okay, so I didn't even know about this part. I just know what Shia put her through. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this in the New York Times came out a while ago, and she went and did the whole circuit of telling her story, which if you're not a survivor yourself, it is an unbelievably traumatizing experience to talk about your story because you get all this unsolicited feedback. You get other people's projection, their emotions, and just having to relive it. But she did it. She did this for us. She did this for society so that we would understand domestic violence in a way that most people don't. She's the one in an interview when someone was like, why did you stay? And she was like, stop asking that. Why did he do this? I'm not even answering that question. I loved that. One of the reasons why she did all this, I'm going to get back to the campaign in a second. I just want to note, this woman has been through hell, okay? And she's already sacrificed so much of her own emotional health telling a story, because what she wanted to point out was that even though she is a critically acclaimed artist with money, a home, a strong network of supporters, could still find herself in this cycle. And she did all this to raise awareness of the tactics that abusers use. And she also drew attention to the additional hellscape that this is as a woman of color, especially a black woman, as I've mentioned in other parts before. And then the recent story that if black women call the police, they could get shot. Not only could the person that they love, that they just don't want to get killed, which would also do a number on them, but they themselves could be the object of police brutality, right? So she tells this whole story, and like a lot of survivors, admitted she had no idea how broken she was until after she got out. That this man brought her so low that the idea of leaving him and having to work myself back up just seemed impossible, right? Like, even a woman with resources and all the things that I already listed was like, it was hard to leave because the idea of like, how do I build myself back up? It's like you're exhausted. It was an very expensive, massive undertaking of time and resources to get out. And what I went through with Shia was the worst thing I've ever been through in my whole of my life. And I don't think people would have ever thought it would happen to me, but I think that's the thing. It can happen to anyone, and it can. So many women don't think it can happen to you. It can. And she was this terrifying reminder to any of us who are like, well, why did she blah? Okay, sure. You can, I always thought that too. Like, it was dummies, whatever, until I was in it and I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so this woman has been through hell because of her physical condition we just talked about, because of this man who is now trying to rebrand so that he doesn't end up, going to jail, because she is going to take him down. I believe she's going to take him down. And the fact that she's even going after him, and this is why he's doing all this, 2024 is when he goes and has to face possible repercussions for all that. So she's got this ahead of her, okay? She's going to need so much strength to deal with that case. And then this happens. So I'm not going to, you pause to read the whole statement, or go look it up, read the whole thing. It's amazing. So she calls out the double standard here. She's talking about how proud she is of herself. She, mentions that some of her role models before who were breaking down all these barriers, especially for Black women. And this right here, about harnessing a unique embodied sensuality. And then this right here, I will not have my narrative change. If you haven't already seen, Jeremy Allen White just won, Golden Globe for The Bear. Great show. Happy for him. But that's all anyone's talking about. Because this guy gets to have his Calvin Klein, which is so much more schmegzual than FKA Twigs is. And the media is like, oh, he was uncomfortable with, he was a little, oh God, In fact, all anyone's talking about is this dude's photos, to the point where at the Golden Globes, his castmates of The Bear were like, can we please talk about our show? Like, we worked on this piece of art. This is not an award show for underwear. Like, I love this. They're like, hey, can you stop talking about his photos? Everybody's talking about his photos. And I get why. I'm not complaining. They're nice to look at, that's for sure. People are writing about him. Oh, he looks great. He's everywhere. Look how much money he made. Way! He even did a whole thing in GQ about all the things he did to prepare for this. Meanwhile, she's having to make statements like this to reclaim her own body and her own narrative. And I love Michaela's response to this. If you don't know her, she's the one who wrote that amazing show, probably one of the best ever made. I May Destroy You. Brave, open, unafraid, powerful, in control, strong, unashamed, with braids to boot, leading the shoot, here for it. So how did all this happen? How did this thing get banned? Well, okay, this is according to Refinery, I believe. I can't read the title, it's cut off. It was only 2 complaints. 2 people complained to these people who apparently have veto power over what a whole country sees. This was in Vogue UK. This is where I got all this information from. I did not know this till today. But they dug into this company, this impressively diverse company that made this decision. Now tell me this isn't racist. Look at the people who made this decision. Okay? These people decided that a Black woman being confident looking into the camera was schmegzual. Who schmegzual? For anyone to look at. Meanwhile, this is Kylie Jenner's photo. I can't even show it. This one right here, totally topless. Can't show it. Like, somehow Kendall, I've been calling her Kylie. Blah. Kendall Jenner's was unlikely to be seen as irresponsible. This whole statement that these people released is ridiculous. There's no explanation for this whole situation but misogynoir.